Hey everybody, this is my 9/11 video. I know a lot of people have been having tributes and they're like popping up images and stuff like that of what happened. But September 11th of 2001 at the New York Trade Centers and stuff like that. Well, the New York Trade Center basically was, well, it is what it is. It's a trade center. There were a lot of stocks and bonds and, a lot of the money was being, sent all over the place. People were buying, turnkey businesses or whatever, or they were investing in properties and, the whole 9 yards. So there was a lot of money that was going in and out of those buildings. That's why they call it the World Trade Center. And I believe that, the biggest reason why those buildings were taken down is because that was kind of like had a lot to do with our finances in America. And so it's like, wow, why don't we just knock down the buildings and really kind of hurt them in the pocketbook. So there are a lot of people that lost their jobs and businesses, and most importantly, and unfortunately, we remember the people, not the disaster, but the people and how they lost their lives. But we need to remember them for who they were, not how they lost their lives, and not how, the disaster took place, and the people that are blubbering and crying constantly because of it. I'm not saying that crying is a bad thing, but you see, I believe that, we need to kind of move on away from the disaster and say, hey, okay, you know what? It happened. It was an act of terrorism. Even if it was an inside job, people are terrified. So you can't say, oh, no, it wasn't an act of terrorism. It was just a manslaughter. I said, well, really? I mean, come on. Terrorism is terrorism. It doesn't matter who was flying a plane or who controlled what. That's not important. But what's important is that people of the United States, our country, need to focus on is, hey, we're strong and life goes on. We'll continue to remember those that lost their lives on 9/11 in the buildings, but the disaster itself will always be a memory in people. I mean, back in 2001 when it happened, my jaw just about hit the floor. You know what I was doing? I'll tell you what I was doing. I was recovering from a near-death experience myself. I mean, 20 hours of hypothermia stuck up 3,000 feet up on a mountain here in Alaska. So it's like, yikes. Then I seen this, and then it made my small disaster look like nothing. And then I felt like, wait a minute. So I really don't have it all that bad in life. But that was horrible. That was really bad. And then from that point, it wasn't about what happened to me on the mountain. All attention was focused on the World Trade Center blowing up. But people are focusing too much on the disaster. They're not thinking, well, the people that died, they shall be remembered. Unless we forget. No, I say we forget. Forget that horrific day. Forget that act of terrorism. And remember the people that were lost. Now, I'm pretty sure that's what they mean, lest we forget. But you have to, for there to be peace, we got to take that act of terrorism, and we have to separate that from the positive and the good things of people that, the ones that died. And I say, there's a lot of decent people that we should keep in mind at all times. And the ones that lost loved ones at 9/11 because of that day. And you got to look at too, there was the Vietnam War. In my opinion, 9/11 should be erased from our minds as a disaster. But the people that lost their lives on that day should all be placed in Memorial Day. Put up a foundation and put all the names of the people that died that day, so people can go there and think about their loved ones. Because active terrorism should not have a grip on America like it does. It shouldn't. Oh, the way the buildings blew up, I will never forget that. You won't, because you keep talking about it. But if you make an effort to move on, then yeah, you will forget. In a good way, that image will eventually, gradually disappear, and you will reflect back on the people that lost their lives. It says, yeah, that was an act of terrorism. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the good that these people had. I don't know if that makes any sense. Because in all reality, what we're doing is we're displaying weakness as an American. We're displaying weakness. Oh, that was horrible. That was horrible. The buildings fell, and the planes, the way they blew up, it was horrible. That was 10 years ago, people. I think it's time that we kind of move on. Anyway, take it for what it's worth. I'm out of here.